Hi, greetings from the high desert southwest of the United States. This is Tolec. It is Saturday, February 22nd, 2014. I'm doing this YouTube video in response to a number of you across the planet asking about the transformation of this world to the 4D vibration and why it didn't happen in January 2014. I provided this answer to hundreds of you via the YouTube messaging service, which works much like email. However, I thought more of you might benefit from what I know in this spoken format. Well, this is going to be an extensive answer, so please bear with me as I touch on all of the facts at play. As I've shared with many others all across the planet, the nature of time as we know it is not fixed. It's really an illusion, and as of this moment, it continues to reduce and will eventually expire due to the rising 4D frequencies. And yes, today, time is still in effect due to the nature of 3D life on this planet. Also, please know there are at least 25 possible timelines with 25 possible outcomes, as described to me by my primary contact with the Andromeda Council. He told me these timelines can be expressed as a center predominant timeline, 12 possible positive timelines positioned on the right, which can be thought of as moving toward the center, 12 possible negative timelines positioned on the left, which can be thought of as moving away from the center predominant timeline. Any permutation or variance of any and all of these is possible. And whatever I might say to attempt to explain the major changes and nuances of the timelines would never be enough to fully explain the myriad of possible outcomes. Of this topic, I can say this. How is the predominant timeline affected? The things that happen that change it are what-based. W-H-A-T. Every decision, every action, every event has a reaction. It is all cause and effect, from natural evolutionary changes to each decision people make on this planet every hour of every day. It all has a cause and effect in terms of the timelines. And then, of course, there are also outside influences based on outside interference. As an example, the current stage of the overall evolution of our global society, it has been directly affected at least since the early 1950s when our government came into ET technologies either through deal-making with the gray ETs and or through re-engineered ET technology acquired through retrieved, crashed ET scout crafts, which people typically call UFOs. This has radically altered the speed of our technological evolution on this planet. The commander of the primary Andromeda Council biosphere told me during a conversation about a year and a half ago that if we as a society had not had access to these technologies and had evolved at a natural organic rate, right now we would only supposed to be technologically where we were in the mid-1970s. So based on all this, you can understand from this one example alone the cause and effects outside influences have on our timeline. Now, concurrent with this topic, I've also been told by all of my Andromeda Council contact people, quite a few times, that things that naturally happen throughout this universe absolutely do not happen based on when, as in based on time or dates. They also happen based on what. The what being certain cosmic or celestial events that trigger other events to happen next. This is very much the case with the dimensional shift, the transformation of this 3D world into becoming a mid-level, crystalline-based, higher dimensional 4D spirit essence world. Certain major cosmic or celestial events will happen first, which will then trigger large-scale global Earth change events. This will be the actual and formal beginning of the dimensional shift of this planet being transformed into a 4D world. You can also think of this transition time period of when a caterpillar stops all of the things it's doing in its life at that stage. It spins a cocoon, and sometimes later a beautiful butterfly emerges. Well, the old life of the caterpillar must die, the cocoon must be shed before a beautiful butterfly can emerge. This mandates there must be a time of transition before the butterfly emerges. Therefore, this too is very much the time of transition we are in on this planet right now. And yes, it's likely to get worse. The old must die off before the new can begin, and before things get better. Now, most telling, and please pay close attention to what I'm about to say. My Andromeda Council contact people have consistently told me that everything they are seeing happen right now and has been happening within the past 2+ years of Earth time tells them that this dimensional shift is happening and will continue to happen in the immediate now, which is my word, until the moment of the actual 4D transformation, when it will trigger and change, as I've said before, in the blink of an eye. They have also told me within the past 5 weeks that this higher dimensional transformation event to 4D, that it's imminent. Yes, they use the word imminent. It is immediately on, let's call it the footsteps, at the same moment of all of this happening that I've just described, that the people of the Goodwill and Liaison team, and immediately following them in each city, town they visit around the planet, that the people from the 4 aligned Andromeda Council member planets of Ventra, Tolec, Nicote, and Retol, that those people will be visiting with the people of Earth all around the globe. There will also be telepathic broadcasts, which will be heard by various individuals, and other ways of communicating with Earth people as to exactly what is transpiring and what is coming next. And yes, they will share some of their advanced higher dimensional technology with the people of Earth as we become 4D higher dimensional people. The visitations of these off-world people will be happening not only during the transformation of this world into becoming a higher dimensional one, but also for many years afterward. You can think of them as higher dimensional, benevolent consultants and teachers, those who are quite familiar with the many aspects of higher dimensional life. So, in closing on this topic, when will all of this happen? As I'd said and written before, based on everything I'd learned, I expected massive major changes, including the 4D transformation of this world, to happen in January 2014, last month. That they did not happen exactly in the month of January 2014, again, is not due to a time or timing factor, and that it has not yet happened is not under my control. However, I'm going to provide you with some added insight about the incongruities of time, which may help. A couple of months ago, I asked Vice Chairwoman Tanya of the Andromeda Council, from their perspective and from her perspective as a 4D human, if someone decides to leave them, take a trip, to incarnate and go live a 3D life on planet Earth, with, let's say, the average Earth human lifetime being 75 years, how long would they, as 4D people, experience that person being gone from their 4D existence? Her answer was, the best time approximation she could give me was 1 Earth day. They would perceive one of us being gone away from them for 1 Earth day, while down here each of us would have lived a 75-year lifetime. To me, this knowledge is astounding. This information also compares with how I and others who are having experiences like me can feel like we are gone off planet for what feels like many weeks, 3 or 4 weeks to us, when we are having higher dimensional experiences with 4D people. With me, it's the people of the Andromeda Council. And we find ourselves back on Earth having only been gone 14 or 15 minutes of Earth time. I've also learned they can put us back down here on Earth at whatever time we or they want. To them, time is irrelevant. It doesn't exist. This also reinforces what I've learned about 3D human travel. Rather, if we want to time travel, or to visit with people who are 4D, who live outside of time as we know it, we as 3D humans must somehow be converted, even if temporarily, into a 4D human vibrational state in order for us to time travel to a place that exists and vibrates at a 4D frequency, or any other frequency higher than 4D for that matter. Therefore, time travel can only be accomplished while Earth human people vibrate, even temporarily, at a minimum 4D vibratory rate. So as you can see, time is not absolute, and therefore it's also not linear. Now, given this information, you can somehow imagine that since 75 Earth years, we can say, is an average lifetime for an Earth human person, and for them only 1 4D day has passed, therefore you can also imagine that 1 month of our 3D Earth time for them has a value of approximately 1 minute. So getting back to the topic of the 4D transformation of this planet and its relevance to when? January of 14, February of 14, March 2014. To them is like the difference between 1 minute, 2 minutes, and 3 minutes. This is the reality of how these two frequencies of vibratory life, 3D, 4D, and higher, compare, at least based on what I've learned to date. And so, I believe that you're now beginning to get a better understanding of how different life experiences are between the timelessness of 4D and how different it is from 3D Earth life. So to wrap things up, I do expect the 4D transformation of this planet and the people of this planet will happen in the very near future, as in imminent. The transition time, the changes of transition, are all around us. However, please don't ask me how soon or when imminent will be. I don't exactly know. But this higher dimensional transformation will happen based on all of the various changes that we are seeing happen on and to this planet right now. We shall all see how it unfolds together. Remember, these Earth changes and the 4D transformation coming to this world, they are not time, date, or when driven. These changes to our world and the 4D transformation of this whole system is event triggered. This is the best overall explanation I can give you about this topic. I hope I've clearly explained the dynamics of how the higher dimensional transformation of this world will occur and why it's not time or date based. There are a lot of things going on this planet right now that are at some level clear evidence of massive change. I know many of you are tracking them. Expect these things to increase, and take whatever actions you feel are necessary in order to be prepared for all that is coming in our near future. This is Tolec. Hodokote. Peace to all of you and to your families.